On Monday, Edmonton City Police announced that a dangerous offender would soon be released into the community after completing his jail sentence. Mike Cardinal, 49, has a long list of prior violent activities, including sexual assaults against women as young as 15 and as old as 82. What makes this unusual is that Edmonton City Police had to make the same warning in 2019 about the same individual. He's a very good example of what happened after the Liberals reformed bail and parole in 2018 to make it very difficult to keep people, even violent offenders, in jail. If you're caught now on a suspect of violent activity, you're not likely to have to serve time in jail while you await your trial. You could be out for 2 or 3 years, unsupervised in the community, doing whatever you feel like. And the same is true with people who are released early from their jail sentences, like Mike Cardinal. Edmonton City Police believe Cardinal has a reasonable expectation to reoffend. That's a reasonable belief on their part, because in 2019, when they gave the same warning on the same man, he did reoffend very soon after, committed another violent crime and went back to jail. And now, just 4 years later, he's being released again. Miles Sanderson, the man who committed 11 stabbing murders at the James Smith Cree Nation in Saskatchewan just last September. He was out in the community early from his previous jail sentence, because the belief among people in Corrections Canada and the Liberal government is that the best way to reduce crime is to put offenders back into the community as soon as possible, because reintegration will encourage them not to be criminals. It's ridiculous. This is one of those expert opinions that the ordinary people look at and say, are you out of your minds? This is ridiculous. If you have dangerous offenders, they need to be kept away from the public. The criminal justice system's first duty is not to the offender or the prisoner. It is to the public. It is their job to keep us safe so that we do not have to fear every time we go out into the community. We had a father of 7 in Edmonton in July who was going to visit a friend on the transit system when a man who was out on bail for several violent offenses, had a weapons restriction order against him, nonetheless went up to him at the transit station and stabbed him to death. It happens over and over and over again in Edmonton, in Vancouver, in Calgary, in Toronto. Almost all across the country, we have seen examples of people who have benefited greatly from the Liberals' 2018 bail and parole reforms to let them out into the community early. It's another one of those expert opinions that you only believe if you're an expert. George Orwell once said, anybody can believe a lie, but to believe a truly preposterous thing, you have to be an educated man. And I think we've seen that in the Liberals' bail and parole reforms. And their Bill C-48, which they failed to pass before Parliament rose for the summer, will do nothing to stop this problem because they don't believe it's a problem. The new Justice Minister, who was sworn in just a week ago, Arif Virani said, it's all in your heads. There's no empirical evidence that crime is getting worse in Canada. That there is. Statistics Canada's report last week said, since the Liberals took over in 2015, violent crime in Canada is up almost 40%. That's real. And that's what Canadians are suffering. And that's what a good government would be trying to stop. For Post Media, I'm Lorne Gunter.